up, gang. Right, bit of a, I don't know, part 2-ish. Part 2, Halloween part 2. So a little bit of talk about Arcade Club. There we go. Yeah, so just a very, I was going to say very brief, it probably won't be with me, you know what I'm like. But a chat about Arcade Club. So those that may not have seen the sort of Leeds Retro Fair video, essentially what the plan was, there was a group of YouTubers, we all sort of went to the Leeds Retro Fair, and then later on we went to the Arcade Club, which is in Bury in Manchester, and so we all sort of trooped over to that side. Oh, mid-afternoon, yeah, sort of late afternoon it was by the time we got there. The chap there, Andy from Arcade Club, I don't know if he let us in early, I'm not sure what the sort of protocol was there, but yeah, we got in there about 4 o'clock, half 3, 4 o'clock, something like that. There's some footage which I will include.
He's got the feel here because
In the car park.
I'm quiet now.
Dual cameras.
Dual camera.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone quiet.
Pixelated man. Do you know who it is then?
No. Yeah. Over here.
Trapped in the escape room. What the hell's that? Manchester's #1 escape room. Odd.
It's like a dual venue.
What's that for there?
Just in case you smell the smoking area. Not really able to have it advertised in the front, is it? It's got a lock on the front, though. Giants contest.
Nothing on the front, is there? It doesn't say Arcade Club. Should we start at the back?
There's a milk car park straight on. I'm well aware. He's upstairs. No, he's upstairs. I know because Andy was saying he's got to get a crane to get by here. Famous face. All right, thank you. Are you all right?
Oh, he's there, is he?
And Andy told me something about taking machines up some stairs with a crane or something.
Oh, we got to go that straight to that door at the top there. Oh, bloody hell, really?
Big cherry picker.
Jesus, you've had a bit of a job then.
Yeah, we've got 90% of it, we've got through the lift and everything.
Yeah.
Just the bigger stuff, we've still got 3 more machines to come up in there.
Magic.
Yeah, Andy, let's go. Yeah, just through there. Nice one. Oh, it just feels so different.
Yeah. How's it going, Andy?
Hello.
It shrunk a lot.
Oh,
Is that it? Is this it now? We all just stand around here? How's it going? You're right.
Yeah, good mate. Yeah, no
good to see
problems.
you.
Hello pal, how are you? Alright.
Always blogging, always blogging.
Always vlogging.
so yeah, you got sorted out then?
Yeah, if it's cool, man.
You're happy, yeah, you
very
got-
good indeed, yeah. You all together or not?
There's a couple more rogues outside.
Coach. Coach and people, yeah. Yeah, so it's just a standard £10, nothing changed my price.
Yeah.
Like, mate, it's fantastic.
Thank you very
You're
much.
paying for 2?
I'm paying for what? Do I owe you money?
Right, it's a bit exciting.
Where are we? Where are we?
Oh yeah, well, it's only taken.
It is, it's weird.
Yeah, to see you paid £10, this is it.
There's this thing there.
Sure,
One
exactly.
machine in there.
We've got Maine on this map. Maine. But there's 10,000 games, it's brilliant.
Right, the shine's wore off now.
Still going? It's in there.
Hey! Oh, you can smell the electrodes.
Oh, candy cap.
Oh, there she is. Where John used to carry it.
Yeah. A quick spin round. Oh.
lighting for the film.
Murky. Murky at best. I've kept the receipt from said arcade club. So here we go. Look, just so you can see all the details here. I'll put the links to this, obviously there's a website there. I'll put all that down there in the description, and there's a Facebook page as well and stuff like that. But essentially what's happened is, again, I'm no expert, Arcade Club had a venue in Manchester. They've expanded, they've gone to new premises, which you'll see in the videos at some point. It's apparently a lot bigger. I don't know, I can't compare, I can only go by what I sort of see on the day, and it's really good, it's really impressive. It's still work in progress. Well, it was at that point still work in progress. I think it only opened on the Friday beforehand. So a few little niggles, a few little like things that need to, you know, be sorted out. Nothing that's, you know, that's not non-doable, essentially. Very impressed. I mean, for your 10 squids, you can't lose. I wouldn't do. Didn't have the license bar, which for me was a little bit of a shame because I didn't even. I was quite good because I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna have a drink in a day. Even though Liverpool won, I'll save myself and I'll have sink a few pints at the arcade club, play a few games, but no, they didn't have the license, so there's a little bit of a. Again, like I said, they're not long open, so there's a few things that didn't quite sort of sit right or weren't, you know, working quite right. But I mean, it does an off license just ran just literally on the corner from where they are, so it wasn't a big deal at the end of it all anyway. And ended up probably working out cheaper than it would have been to buy pints off them, I don't suppose. A few machines need a little bit of work. You know, me and Carl, our Ocarina Fallow, were trying to play like Smash TV 2 players. My like left control stick wouldn't go left or right anywhere or down. Little things like that. Shocks was playing what's it called it? I always forget this name. The PS1 game with like the Cosmo Gang type thing. Jesus Christ, not Panic something. But the player one gun was knacked. Just little things, nothing that they can't fix. But I think my guess is they probably took a beating on the opening day, which was the Friday before when everyone sort of piled in. So the guys were there. You'll see a video. I think one of them was fixing one of the monitors as we speak. There was a pinball table there a while ago, which was Revenge of the Swamp Thing, I think, or Revenge of the Aliens or something. Couldn't get on it because someone was just hogging it. But I mean, I played Addams Family, loved Addams Family. Played X-Men pinball, played Twilight Zone pinball. As you can see from the video, it was busy enough, but not so busy that you.
he's dodging, he's weaving.
Again, not trying to sort of dig it out or anything like that, but just a few little things that I noticed in terms of some of the volumes of some of the games were too low. I would love to hear this. I played Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. Couldn't really hear the audio at all. A bit of a shame. But you could always hear Hot Rod. Everyone said that you could always hear Hot Rod above everything else. We had me, Matt, and Daz had a game at that. That was quite. To be honest, if we had 4 players in that would have been an absolute blast. I was doing all right at a certain point. I kept telling them it's all about the gas. It's all about the gas. Daz cottoned onto it. He kept beating me to the gas, and subsequently Daz won. Matt was more seemed more intent on souping up his car. He's like, look at that, look at the wing, look at the front, look at the back. But it was just great fun, really, really good fun. Had a blast on Robotron, Time Pilot. That seems to be a tuber's. What you call it? The ultimate tuber challenge, because Daz and Craig had sort of weird sort of competition thing going on. I don't know, and yeah, I only played Time Pilot in Manchester, and I really enjoyed it. Was it Manchester? Or was it Blackpool? Blackpool, and I really enjoyed it. I'd put a comment. I'd mentioned it in my video, and Tony Electric Ventures had put a comment because I asked if there's a home version of it, and apparently there's not. Although Craig's here again said there was a PlayStation 2 version. I mean, it doesn't matter now because I've got the Coin Op 7. But it's just a dead basic game, but so addictive. So anyway, this like ongoing, sort of competition or face-off between Daz and Craig. And Matt, it's his first go ever. I think he knocked Daz off one of his high scores, but ultimately, actually, I'll come back to that. So he knocked him off his high score anyway. So, in terms of the actual venue and the setup, it's still work in progress. The venue, I think, is ideal. Although the lift's one of them sort of weird, sort of like delivery lifts, and we just walked up the stairs. You'll see that in the footage anyway. And it was great to see Griffo. That's what I was going to say before. I didn't want to ruin it, but Griffo 83X, awesome seeing his mate Lee. Is it Lee? I think it was Lee. But Paul Griffo, yeah, he's a young, sprightly 43-year-old. I said that to him. I said, you don't look as old as you sound. I don't know why you don't come on the camera, mate. You're not an ugly bastard. Not like me. You're a lot more visually appeasing than I am, I'm pretty sure. So get yourself in front of the camera, you miserable bastard. But yeah, it was great to see Paul. Because I think he was a bit like me. He's quite hot in there as well, because you've got all the sort of heat generated from a lot of cabinets and a few people, and it got really, you get that sort of, I used to feel it because I work in IT, because comms aren't ventilated properly. You get that sort of, what's the word, you can feel like the sort of thing in the air. It's like a charge, and it just gives you a thick head. So for me, I get that play as well and stuff like that. You have to sort of go out and get a bit of fresh air. Anyway, long story short, we popped out, got some beers, come back, and Paul had gone. I'd actually got some beers and stuff, but I think he'd already had enough. But there was a bit of a blip, unfortunately. The power, the lights went off, So we sat in the dark drinking beers, which, well, to be honest, I really enjoyed that bit because it gives us a chance just to sort of wind down and reflect on the day and just tune wax. So we had me, Shocks, and Carl, Ocarina fella, twin Darth Rover. We just chatting, and fair play to Carl. He had a, I mean, he necked. What do you have? Some cider, like dark fruit cider or whatever. Obviously, really enjoyed it. They were gone. But it was just good just to sit around and just chat. That's all we did, just on these little sofas, and we just chewed the fat, you know, and had the crack sort of thing. We had Daz in the corner, miserable old bastard he was, falling asleep, and he was trying to talk to us above everything. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I'm deaf anyway. But I like that bit. I said to the guys, I said, if they got the bar up and running, they've got a little bit just like ambient music in that sort of bar area, it'd be great to sort of have, you know, like, go to the arcades, have a blast, come back out again, have a pint, go back in again, that kind of, you know, that to and fro-in thing. But I like the fact that we could just sort of sit down and chat. I'm getting old and boring. You know, I don't like to go to these places where you can't hear yourself think. But I really enjoyed that. Like I say, just went to the off licence, literally, at the entrance, turn left, cross one road, there's an off licence in the corner. So even if they do have a licensed bar, you're probably better off just going to the off licence and bringing your own beer in. So what else? Yeah, so we had a problem with the lights, which then was pissing about with the big circuit board, and then knocked all the lecky off. I think they had to go and get a fuse or something. I don't know what it was. They got it all working eventually. Anyway, yeah. Long story short, they got it all working, and it's lessons learned. It is work in progress, but I think once they get it up and running and it's like slick, it is a really good venue, especially if you can sort of combine it with, again, off the back of the other video, I was talking about, like, you know, the expos and stuff where you can't get the machines. I mean, if you go to one of these retro fairs, meet the lads, you know, buy games, do whatever you want to do, have a spot to eat, go to the event, the arcade club afterwards. You can play all the games, you can sup some beers, you can chew the fat, and, you know, just to socialise. And it's really good to have a chat with Dal, really good to have a chat with Carl, Twin Rover, and Shocks is always a blast. Unfortunately, Shocks can't say the word share, so we were talking about what were we talking about? I'm talking about the burger, like this, the Five Guys burger, and he said, "Oh, in where I'm from, you know, I think Nottingham or whatever, they have this kebab, big massive kebab, and you have to shear it." I said, "What? As in, like, you have to shear it like with a sheep?" But no, you have to shear it. I said, "Share it." He went, "Yeah, shear it." I said, "Share," and we had because we had a couple of pints anyway, and we had this thing where it was like, Shocks cannot say share. I said, "Do you know that one that sings that song, If I Could Turn Back Time, what's her name?" Sheer. "No, it's not Sheer, it's Share." And he went, it must be a Nottingham thing. So we got Matt, who's from Nottingham, he popped up. I said, "How'd you say share?" He went, "Share." He goes, "Well, you know when if you've got like some shears, what they called?" He goes, "Shears." I said, "Yeah." So it's official. Shocks cannot say share. That was quite funny. It's going to be an ongoing joke, that is now, I'll tell you. So I said, "Oh, what's that guy's name with ginger hair? Is it Ed Sharing?" He went, "No, it's Ed Shearing." I goes, "There you go then." But I mean, what else can I say about Arcade Club that hasn't already been said, or won't already be said? £10 to get in. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's pretty good. I think it's value for money any day of the week. What else was there? Toilets were nice. I'm getting old, you see. It's always nice to have nice toilets. I don't know. See, thing is that because I don't drive, I don't know in terms of accessibility. We could probably do a bit Beanside Post a little bit better, because as you can see from the video, even we got confused as to where you were supposed to go. But other than that, I think the guy Andy, who obviously like set all this up, doing a great job. Really is. I think, like I say, a few tweaks here and there. It's all work in progress. It may be the go-to place. Oh, talking of that, Phil Dar, big Phil. nice to see him. He lives in the church. I didn't know that. He goes, oh, you can see. I don't know. He said he lives in the church. I don't know. He may be Jesus incarcerated. Not incarcerated. But yeah, he lives in the church. Apparently, you can see it from the window in Arcade Club. But really good to see Phil again and his missus. I don't know what else to say really, other than I really enjoyed it. It was weird because we got to 5 o'clock and all of us were like, "God, it's only 5 o'clock," and I hadn't even had a beer by then either, so I was really twitching. I'm joking. And because obviously with the lights up fading and stuff, and but before you know it, it's like 10 o'clock, and we had to go because there's a lot of people that have to get back. And again, I need to really thank Matt Softfunk Retro for bringing us home. I know he sort of said, "Oh, it's no big deal." It is. It's a massive deal, pal. It really is, and it just shows to me, like, you know, in terms of the community that we keep banging on about. Some really nice people in there. There's some arseholes. You always gonna get arseholes. You just have to ignore them. Don't feed the trolls. But you know, people like Matt, Daz, all the guys out there. I have to say everyone I know. Matt, Daz, Dal, Ocarina Fella, Carl, Shocks is top. Anyone who's never met Shock, I don't think there's ever a bad word to say about the lad. And then Paul Griffo and his mate Lee, all top. And you know, it's weird because people talk about the community, and I think until you experience it or you interact with it, I don't think you appreciate what it actually means. That aspect, and you know, like Craig's here again, the elusive, the pixelated man, the nicest guy you could ever want to meet. Honestly, he'll do anything for you. He's got fucking hollow legs. He's always eating. He's one of these people that grazes. He's like a stick, his little tiny little stick thing. He's always always. He's like, I don't know, something wrong with us. And like when I was a kid. Because you're always eating, well, I should say. You're feeding the worms, you've got tapeworm in you have. Because me and Dad were laughing about this. And I said, I said, Craig's got a tapeworm. He must be feeding the tapeworm. There's something wrong with him. Always got hollow legs. That was an ongoing joke, because he's always hungry. We had the Five Guys burgers. Me and him went outside. I think we're a bit similar to that. I need to breathe a little bit. I don't know, I run quite hot. In terms of just being hot. And so we sat outside and we went back in and he went, "I might get one to take to the car." And I thought he was, at first I thought he was joking, and he was serious. And then when we got in and met the guys that were still sat in the burgers, I went, "Oh, I'm only joking." I said, "Look, don't feel embarrassed if you want to have another burger, Craig." And then I think later on after when we were at the Arcade Club, him, Matt and someone else, they went and got fucking KFC. And then afterwards he went and got Chip Shop. He's an eating machine. There's something wrong with him. He's got tapeworms. But I really enjoyed it. I like the arcades. Yeah, that's well, a lot of us all grew up with. But for me, a huge part of it is just sitting down, just chewing the fat, supping some beers, and chatting to everybody. And even though we sat in the dark, I loved that bit. It was really good fun. We just, I say, we just sort of bounced off each other and just sort of had the laugh. It was really good fun. And then they come back from the KFC or wherever they've been to. But overall, an absolutely brilliant day. Way better. I'm not being funny. Way better than any of the plays, other than the first Play Expo that Daz went to and I went to. And we all met up at. I think, like I say, that weekend you can't recreate that. But this one, in terms of just what we did and what we condensed into like a day, essentially, was absolutely brilliant. And we couldn't do it without people like Craig and Matt that were driving. And obviously, I know they sort of said, "Oh, don't worry about it." No, I still owe you. I will look after you. You know that. But yeah, I think the retro markets, if you can buy, like say, I don't know, if they went like Doncaster, so if you went to Doncaster and everyone sort of said afterwards we're going to go to the pub, and just everyone went to the pub or whatever afterwards, or something like that. I think that's the way to go. Because the only thing that these expos have really is just the arcade machines, and if it's close enough to Bury or whatever in Manchester, the arcade club, it kind of ends up being a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest. But hopefully you'll see the footage. I don't know how I'm going to sort of splice it or not splice it, or include it or not include. Well, I'll include it. But yeah, if you can get yourself down there, even if it's just for a day or an afternoon or whatever, and just experience it, really is worth it. It's a shame it's not closer. I said this to Shocks and a few others. I mean, for Daz and I think Craig and maybe Matt, it's close enough for them. But for us more sort of centrally based guys, it's going to Manchester essentially. So it's a little bit more of a stretch, but it's one of the things you probably might do like every 6 months or something. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe stay over, because I don't like putting on people. I don't like that. I don't like relying on, not sort of saying I don't trust anybody, but I just don't like relying on other people for things like that. But yeah, a great, probably one of the best weekends I've had in a long time. So I hope you've enjoyed the footage. I hope you enjoyed a bit of me being two sheets to the wind and chatting shit. I don't think I've missed anything else out. I mean, we talked about a lot of different things. I sort of said to everyone, one of the things, I don't remember saying this, but apparently Craig thinks I did. In terms of just dying, people dying, or when you die or whatever, because there's a big deal about if you eat sausages and you eat bacon, it's all carcinogenic and you're gonna get, it's paramount to asbestos. And I just sort of said, look, everyone's got an expiry date. I think when you're born, that's it. You've got the expiry date stamped on you. No matter what you do, what you eat, what you do or don't do. Next, you hear about people smoking to the 90s, people that ultra fit and blah blah blah, and they drop dead with a heart attack. I just think just live your life and enjoy it for what it is. And for some bizarre reason, I don't know how it's got morphified into something like, I sort of Craig said to his Mrs. Jane, I said, we're all sausages. I don't remember saying we're all sausages, but it's quite funny. But we are all sausages, and we all have an expiry date. So live the life to the full, enjoy it, and fuck a lot of them.